If you don't know by now, we're going to remind you that Paige and her wonderful fiance, Jason, are getting married right here in our own backyard on a very special Hallmark Primetime Home and Family special. It is airing here on Hallmark Channel the 22nd of June, 8/7 Central. We're so happy about that. We're also overjoyed with the fact that the owner of Beautiful Day Photography, Laura Grier, is with us, and she is going to be taking photos of their wedding day, and we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But I had a chance because they asked me to photograph their engagement photos.
Yes, you did.
Which I was over the moon to do.
Thank you for that.
You're so welcome.
What is your advice on getting the best engagement photos?
Find a very good-looking couple.
Okay, number one.
Who are madly in love with each other.
Number one. Definitely helps. Okay.
You know what? We spent the day. My advice, or the way I looked at this, is I saw their theme, and that very rustic theme. Fortunately, we're right on Western Street, and I explored a little bit, and I found this environment to work with wonderful textures. But at the end of the day, working with a couple is letting them be with each other and observing them and watching just how they interact. And that's when you're going to really find those really sweet moments where you capture the emotion. Outside of that, as Laura will tell you, it's all about bending that light that's available and seeing what's there. And you know, finding a few props. We did bring in some props, which was important, I think, just to give a little bit of a, and of course we couldn't remember which was Paige and which was Jason, so we had to keep mixing things up.
Love it.
But I also gave them a story. You know, we created a little environment outside the train, and Paige is so good about getting some little outfits together. And all I did was just tell them, here's your environment. Let's create a story and a mood. Not always look to the camera. You can spend time with each other. And that's how we got them.
They're really wonderful photos, aren't they? They capture the two of you.
I'm going to show you two that because I don't want to reveal all of them to you, but we do have a couple. First one I want to show you is one that I really felt you can almost like, they're almost like just in smelling each other's, you know, I mean, look at that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that sounded bad, but you know, you just know, you know their skin, you know they smell, you know their hair, whatever. And I really found that moment with you guys when you were together, nuzzling. And then another one, as I walked the property, I saw something, and I wanted to be creative. And this is Western Street, but I saw a saloon, but I saw something else as well, and a little Photoshop trickery, and we made it into a save the date and switch things. So,
wow, Mark, that's great.
So just know that environment that you're working in.
Yeah. Thank you again.
So let me ask you, they're really wonderful, Mark. I hope you're happy with it. But Laura,
it was fun.
It was. What's the difference between engagement photos and then the wedding photos?
Well, kind of piggybacking what you just talked about, engagement photos, you have a lot more time than you do on the wedding day to really get to know the couple and like run around. You can change outfits and do props, and it's really kind of a trial to all get comfortable in front of the camera and have fun and let your personalities come out and just, you know, really let yourself shine and let yourself as a couple shine. And then it also makes you really more comfortable for the wedding day because there's a lot of other emotional factors going on and family members there. And the wedding day photos you're not going to have the luxury of having 3 hours to run around. So it's so helpful to do that first, and it makes everything so smooth on the wedding day.
I've known them for a while, so I don't think there was a question whether it was a match for me working with them and vice versa. But how would a couple know if there's a good match?
Well, I always say that you have to find like your soulmate in your photographer, and it's not just a style. Like my style is very vibrant and colorful, and it doesn't speak to everyone. And you're looking at tons of websites, so their style has to speak to you, but also personality. Because honestly, your photographer is the person you see the most on your wedding day. You're gonna see me more than you see him. Your whole family, everyone. I'm there like from the beginning.
So I better like you.
You better like me.
But it also, she was the photographer for my best friend. She did all her family photos, and so knowing that Trevi loves her and she's my best friend, I'm like, okay, she's in. Just because, you know, from friends and family.
So good references.
I mean, that's really important because honestly, that's how everyone, you know, you find like-minded people when you're referred by like-minded people, and then that's also a way to be a good fit.
Well, I want to look at some of your work and share it with, because obviously it's beautiful. Maybe you can tell us a little bit of what we're looking at here.
This is a gorgeous photo from Lake Tahoe, and it's funny because they were kind of upset that it was impending rain, and I thought it was so beautiful. It just made it so dramatic, and they ended up having the most gorgeous sunset. It was like a rainbow afterwards, and they did get the rain. Right when they kissed and walked on the aisle, it started raining. It was like the sky opened up, and it was amazing.
When someone is hiring a photographer, is there a common mistake people make?
Yeah, I think that people think that, you know, if you have an expensive photographer and they don't have a budget, they'll go for a lesser expensive photographer. And sometimes there's hidden costs later on. Like some photographers make their money on albums and prints, or they'll hold your negatives hostage, or things like that. And so ultimately you're gonna end up paying double what you thought you were paying for in the end. So I would say that a big mistake would be to just make sure you know what you're getting in your package. If you're getting your negatives, or getting all the things you're paying for, and that you're not going to pay hidden costs later on. And also just make sure you see all of their work, not just their favorite 30 photos on their website. Ask them to see an entire wedding, to see the entire story being told, because I think that's really important. And
that's a good idea.
And you can really understand if they're like a match for you.
How do you?
No, I was going to say, so you have to read the fine print, because I know you see some albums, but a lot of people don't realize that it's, if you want something more than that, it's going to, like an 8x10, or you want to send it to grandma or whatever, it costs even more. And a lot of people are like, what?
Yeah.
You know, they don't understand, and then you start fighting and there's problems.
I mean, for me, I think your last experience with your photographer should be having an awesome day on your wedding day and getting amazing photos. It shouldn't be like nickel and diming and having to pay for all these extra things later on. So I think you just have to make sure there's not hidden costs, and also just make sure that, you know, when they say they're going to deliver your pictures, that they're high res, that you get them like within a couple months or a month from the wedding rather than a year. Some photographers hold them hostage and then make you pay a lot. So.
Well, we're going to have more advice on our Facebook page, our website. You can also go to beautifuldayphotography.com. It is a beautiful day when you drop by there. That's Laura's site.
Thank you.
Good
look
tips.
forward to our wedding.
TikTok,
Thank you.
TikTok.
So excited.
When we come back, Jeanette is here.
Yes, and coming up, if you're a caregiver or you know a caregiver, these are resources you can't afford to miss.